kids, welcome. Mark Miller here. Let's write some code today. We actually have I think a really cool show today. We're gonna do some clever stuff to solve a complicated problem.
Is in the house.
Hey, Sir Lee, welcome. Let me know how my audio is sounding. I always want to get some feedback on that. I'll switch back over here. Base Alpha is with us as well. How did Surly get a fanfare? I don't understand that. I didn't see him say anything at all in the chat room. How did that happen? I do not know. Okay, let's go to Visual Studio. Show you what I'm thinking about today here. So yesterday we left off with, we were starting to write data out back to the spreadsheet. And I was like, starting to get a little bit of a brain overload on that. And the reason I is because the question was, what data do I send back? Do I rewrite the whole sheet? And we were kind of like, yeah, but there's a problem with that. Here, let me bring up a new, whoops, not VS Code, an instance of PowerPoint up. And let's create a new project in here. Just a blank presentation. Kind of visualize this for you. So we got the spreadsheet out there. This is the Google Sheets document. That contrast is definitely too low. It's a mistake. PowerPoint should have higher contrast for that default option right there. Let's change the fill. Fix the fill color. All right, so there's my Google Sheet doc. We would bring that in. By the way, Karen Mangicotti is so happy today.
I'm so happy.
She's so happy today. She's getting a bathtub installed today. And bathtubs are rare in Costa Rica. And we figured out a way to get it into our new place. And by replacing an existing shower with it. And we had to do the bathtub had to be kind of custom made to fit. Wasn't too much of a big deal. They just had to kind of shorten it a little bit because it was a smaller space. But they have brought that in, and they are putting it in right now. So yeah, you know what? I'm not liking this shade of green here. Sorry, kids. I know that this is just gonna have to bear with me for a second here. I want to get like a little more saturation in here. Let's get over in this space here, a little less yellow. All right, better. Okay, so we take the Google Sheets doc, we go from there, and whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do this. Then we bring it into our DTO. And the DTO has kind of a one-to-one mapping. A one-to-one mapping of fields to properties. And this is for anything we're reading in from the sheet. We send it to a DTO first, and then after that, we send it into our more, I don't know, usable class, our usable class, or our in-memory class, memory instance, something like that. And this one is set up for ease of consumption in code is its goal. okay? So these are temporary right in here. Let's document that as well. Kind of. Right? These are temporary right here. So the problem is we make changes here to the in-memory instances. The question is, how do we get them back? Right? How do we get them back over to here? Maybe not like that. Let's just do a bunch of these. All right. So that's my big question. Let's put a big, we're going to visualize here what's in my head. How do we get it back? That's the question. There are two ways to do it. The way I started to do it yesterday, which I got a kind of an uneasy feeling about, was this. That was my way back. It's daunting, though, because there's a lot of custom code here that figures how to take unconditioned data. That's what I'm calling it, unconditioned data. Data like this, and turning it into better data, which is going to be a separate field for what is the character size, a separate field for what is the character kind or the monster kind, and a separate field for what is the alignment. And that's just one example. We've got here's speed over here, the same problem. We go into spells. Let's go look at spells here. Right? This is the word false, but it might be a Boolean, for example. The casting time, the duration, right? Again, and you've got this kind of thing going on here, like this is how I indicate whether a spell requires concentration or not. And the reason it is because this is the original data I got when I started creating this file, is it started with the word concentration. So I've got code that's looking for the word concentration, parsing it, and if it exists, I'm setting up that this is a spell that requires concentration. Which means in this, I don't have that original DTO string, whatever that is. I've got it just broken down into a Boolean, concentration true or false. So this is daunting. Because lots of code. And value is questionable. So that's that. What I want to do, there's like a couple other options on how to do this. Here. But I was playing with this space. I was also playing with this idea of, well, let's only write out the data that's changed. Which I like a lot. And the reason why is because Google Documents already has a built-in version history. And so if I come in and rewrite everything, I don't know, is it going to know? Is it going to be doing the versioning? I guess we'll learn that and find that out today when we do this. What I want to do is this. I want to bypass the DTO on the way back. I want to directly write from our in-memory instance straight to the Google Sheets doc. That's what I want to do. And I want to do it only as needed, only for the properties. That's what I want to do. So, and the result is it's going to be a lot less code, a lot more efficient, and only the pieces that need saving are going to be saved. That's what I want to do. So only save the fields that we need to save. Save. Maybe only save the fields that have changed. And no DTO. In fact, it's just now occurring to me that I could kill these by using the thing we're going to do today to make this work. We could make a change, also the same kind of change to the in-memory instances, so we don't need a DTO anymore. The DTOs we created because of the CSV helper that we were using. Anyway, that's what I want to do. And the way I want to do that is I want to create attributes. Here, let's create a new slide page for this right here. New slide, attributes. And I think I want an attribute that says column name. And that takes a string. And that's going to specify. So this is going to be an attribute like this. It's going to be able to say which of these columns here. So for example, I might take casting time and apply that to a particular property. Okay. So applied to properties. And we're going to use reflection to grab the attributes, the properties that have the attributes, find out what column they go to, grab that data, and stick it in that column. Cool. So that's one of the attributes I need. The other attribute I want, when I realized this, thought of it this morning. By the way, I was like, didn't have a great solution up until this morning for my dread. And I think the other one I want is index. So this is going to apply, also applied to properties. Let's give this finished documentation. Indicates which column the property corresponds to. Oh, look at this. I just come up with a new idea here too. Sheet name. Or tab name, maybe. Tab name applied to classes. And maybe also a document name. Maybe. Or sheet name, we'll call it sheet name. So we got tab name and sheet name that we can send. So we can say here, we can say D&D, and over here we could say spells, like that. Something along those lines. Casting time, index. Index, okay, applied to classes, specifies which Google Sheet document and tab to read, write data from. Okay, index applied properties, and the index one, as you probably have guessed by now, is going to specify which property are deemed unique enough to detect, to determine the row to write to. So we're going to use index on properties. We're just going to declare it in the code, right, just as an attribute. And we'll use those properties to uniquely find the row. And if we find those, then we can now write out any other properties that have the column name attribute. We're just going to grab those and write that data out. And we might also check to see if it's different from the current value and only write it if it is. So that's kind of the strategy. That's the plan. Good plan. I like that plan. Just want to bring up Fred here and get his input on that. Fred, what do you think? We good? It's good. Karen Manjicati here. What do you think about that plan? You think I should refactor the plan already? She might be right. Better now than later. All right, let's get in there. Let's get in there. What's sexy, baby? Oh my goodness. Okay. Thought you thought our plan was sexy. Okay, clearly not. I think our plan is sexy. I think our plan is really sexy. Wait, do you think our plan is sexy, baby?
You know what's sexy?
What?
My new bathtub!
Your new bathtub is sexy. All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to close down this app right here. We're going to start adding some attributes. These need to be down in the core. And I think I even want to put create a folder for them. I'm just going to grab a class here because it's easier and faster to come in here and just start writing a class right in here, and then using CodeRush to move it to another file. So let's do that. So we're going to create a new class, and we're going to call this the column name. So we decided to call it column name attribute. What's going on with that? What is happening? That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's giving me 2 of those. I think this is Visual Studio, not CodeRush here. Let's go and just report the issue anyway. So kids, I'm trying to create a new attribute. I'm typing in column name attribute, and it gives me the word attribute at the end as soon as I do that. It's not a little bit weird? I think it's Visual Studio. I'm going to hit enter on it. Wow, that's weird. See what you think about that. I'm going to send you my rename to attribute. I feel like maybe I've seen this and sent this before. I'm not sure. It feels familiar to me. Column name attribute. It's going to descend from attribute. And it's going to have a new property that's going to be the column name. Maybe like that. Hit the CodeRush key. Declare property with initializer. There it is right there. Let's move type to file. Okay, that's step 1. We need to create a, let's do this too. Let's call name attribute. Let's create a new folder in here. These are attributes. Let's create another new class. We don't try this. Nice. Okay. So this is going to be it's going to be our index. Indexer attribute, like that. And so this is there's nothing inside of that. It just looks like this. Okay. What's wrong here? Index or attribute, I've already got one. Excuse me, kids. Let's go find that. That's stunning. It doesn't define one here. It's as if it thought it was there and it's not there anymore. That's really weird. Yeah, okay. Looks like it's figured it all out. So to mark a field that can be used, that can uniquely identify this, an object, uniquely identify the instance as belonging to a particular row. Like that. Okay, that's the indexer attribute. The column name attribute is use this to map a property to a particular column in a Google Sheet. Isn't this feeling good? This is like the way to do it. I kind of wish Roy were here today, because Roy would be like, I think, all over this architecture. He'd be like, good job, Mark.
Oh, yeah, me too. I did really touch it.
Yeah, you want to come look at it? No? It's just really impressive, though. This is how, can you show everybody your hands when you come in?
My hands? What?
Ah, okay. She's an artist, kids.
I did some really cool stuff today.
Yeah? You can bring it in and show us later if it dries.
Where's your code?
Oh, it's right up here. What do you think about that? Column attribute, name attribute. What do you think about this? What should I do with that?
I think you need to. Are you sure you want to close parens right there?
Close parens? Oh, yeah, you know, maybe I shouldn't close those parens.
No, I think
You don't leave that one hanging?
I think it's just gonna limit your options.
It's just what
You
Visual
wanna-
Studio would expect.
Yes, exactly. Kick them.
Get them.
Get
That's
them.
exactly what I'm going to
Get
do.
Visual Studio at their own game.
Yeah. It's a VE Day celebrations, bank holiday in the UK. Kobe Salva says, lurking currently.
Oh, do you know what Sunday is?
What?
Mother's Day.
Who's getting a
What are you gonna
bathtub
get?
for Mother's Day?
I'm getting that.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's teal.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, so I'm going to keep that. I'm going to take that closing print and just throw it out,
Good, thank you.
because I don't want, the last thing I need is Visual Studio to be all like,
Yeah.
I knew what you were doing.
Exactly.
I want to be unpredictable.
You want to be unpredictable. You got to keep an edge, right?
That's what I'm going to do.
So just get rid of that, and you're welcome.
Boom. Thanks, Karen. Appreciate that. All right, that closing paren is gone. What is going on here? Interesting. All right.
Wait, you know that my hands match your beard, actually?
It's really cool. All right. All right. Thanks for stopping by. All right. Use this to map a property to a particular column of the same name. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I want to call it column name. It's column name attribute with a or maybe I'll just call it the column attribute, like that. I think I'm going to do that. So use this to map a property to a particular column with a header of the same name. Okay. We also had the doc name and the sheet name as well. Let's go ahead and declare those. Sheet name is what I called it. Sheet name attribute. Yep. how do I specify that a class applies to, I mean, an attribute applies to a class in C#? There it is, right there. System.attribute usage. That's what we're looking at. Okay, cool. So, sheet name, this applies to a class, so we're going to come in here and say, it's a class. What does inherited mean? Is inherited by derived classes and overriding members. It is not inherited. I'm okay with it saying it's not inherited for the sheet name. Okay, good for that one. Let's go put it in its own file. And let's give it as well, similarly, an attribute usage. And its target is going to be, what have I got here? Field or property? And do I need inherited down here? Looks like it's optional. I think I can do that. Attribute usage. So we can stick that on a property or a field. Column attribute. What else do we got? Sheet name indexer attribute. Similarly, that can go on a field or property. Okay, cool. That's the core of what we need to do. Next, let's look at player. Let's look at, is it down in here? Nope, down in here, players, right? Character, there's character. All right, so let's look at character. And let's look at the character database. So the first functionality I want to be able to do is save a player's goal. Okay, that's what I want to do. So let's kind of follow what happens for we need an indexer field, which is going to be the full name. Let's go see what happens with the character DTO and the name. Oh, by the way, this was code I started to do yesterday, and then I was like, no, it's a nightmare. It's just so much coding for so little payoff. What's happening here? Oh, wait a minute. Did you really grab all that? I got a code rush bug. I just caught like an elusive code rush bug. Or an edge case one. Look at this. Okay, kids, look at this. I'm using selection increase. Look, here's the break. This is code. That's a line of code right there. So selection increase here, watch. Selection increase once, twice, but look how far it goes. It goes all the way up past the code block up into here. It should not have done that. It should only get to this point right here. That is clearly a bug. I'll send you my log files. I'll send you everything, kids. Selection increase. Like that. Across brace delimiters. And kids, I want you to, when you figure out what this is, of course, test cases, I know you guys are going to do that, but I want to see what else similar to this, a single line of something, like maybe a multi-line string with an ending quote here on the line all by itself, something like that. Look for those things and see if you can find them. What happens if I add a empty line here? It goes right past the empty line.
Genesco 7, where are you? We need your help. Oh, not Orion. Here, I am.
Genesco 7's here. I'm just in the middle of getting a Code Rush bug here. Let's see what happens if I do this. Look, it grabs, it just bypasses the braces like crazy. Let's set a, let's get a multi-line string here. Let's do this. VS, my stir. Let's put this up on this line. See what happens now. Selection increase, increase. Still, it's blasting right past that. On its own line. Selection increase, increase, blasting right past it. Something's goofy. Something's really wrong here. Selection increase, increase. Yeah, it doesn't matter. There's code here. It doesn't care what's going on here. It's just seeing this whole thing. What happens if I do this? Trying to mess with this. Yeah. If I put in my own method down here. Finally, are we going to see a break? No? What is going on? That's crazy, kids. I'm trying to find the bounds of this, the endpoints of this. Yeah, whatever it is, it's a really, really weird bug. What you got?
I need money for the guy for the car.
The car. Oh, Pedro's here?
Yeah.
And is he fixed it already?
Yeah, it was corroded and loose, and he fixed it. And
Okay. Did you tell him thank you?
well, I'm also going to pay him.
Okay. Is that enough?
He said single meal, so I'm going to give him safe meal.
That guy's amazing, man.
I know. He's my favorite man.
Okay, as long as I'm close to second favorite, I'll take it. All right, so anyway, okay, that was exploring that bug. Did I close it down? There's the close down right there. Genesco 7, welcome. Glad you're here with us. That's what I was expecting to see. So anyway, let's get rid of all that code because we don't need that code anymore. My get feature list, I was going to use that to create the list of features. That was again my attempt of starting to undo the reversing of the conditioning of the data. And now I'm like, yeah, I don't need any of that. So now let's look at, we're going to follow name and we're going to just follow it through. It's a one-to-one assignment here on this guy here. So I'm going to say that's my indexer because I'm only going to have one entry, one row with that matching name all the way through. So there's my indexer. Boom. Next, I want to find the gold. Let's go find gold in here. Gold pieces. Let's double check that. Tabbed index reference on it. There's it is. There's the DTO assignment right there to gold pieces. Okay. There it is. All right, sweet. There's the DTO. There's the character. Let's go to the character now and come in, and we are going to give it, what is it, column. So our spec currently requires us to do this. To match up that column. But I'm also kind of also thinking shortcut, hey, if it does exactly match, why would I make myself type it up in here? And then instead we'll just use the name. That's what I think I want to do. So let's come in here. Let's give this a default of an empty string like that. And then we will we'll figure that out. Okay. So those, those are the only two changes. Well, maybe one more change. Let's come up here into, we're inside creature. All right, I'm okay with this. Let's go back over to character. And I want to create a new attribute up here. What is it? Sheet name is D&D, right? That's the sheet name. The tab name is players. Right down here. See it right there. Sheet name, D&D. Tab name. What's going on? Ooh, that's good code. That's the line is good too? Coding Gorilla's here, kids. Coding Gorilla. Was that scary, Fred? Fred, are you okay, buddy? Don't know where Fred is. Coding Gorilla, how you doing, buddy? Welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. I brought some friends, had to show my fanfare. Sweet. Well, welcome. Yeah, that's cool. Why isn't tab name working? Didn't I do that? I thought that's what I created. Let's go find my attributes. Only got sheet name. Apparently I didn't do tab name. Let's just grab that whole selection there, duplicate it here. Call this tab name. That's going to be tab. And there we go. All right, so there's my tab name attribute. Let's go move that to its own file. Wait, before we do that, let's use CodeRush to remove the type qualifier. Now let's grab it. Whoops, grab it there. Move type to file. Escape to jump back. Let's go back here. And now we've got the tab name, and the tab name is going to be players. So this is how we're going to map our class and the data in the class instance back to the Google Sheet by using essentially, I think, 4 attributes: sheet name, tab name, and then over in creature we had the gold pieces. Right there, it is right there. We use the column attribute, and then we use the indexer attribute right here. Yeah, Code itself is saying pretty cool use of attributes. So we haven't built the code yet to the engine to do this yet. But once we're done, adding new pieces that we want to save is going to be as simple as just adding the column piece right up here. It's going to be pretty much that. And if we do have to condition any data, we have to kind of reformat it into a string format. We can create a new property, a read-only property that does that. Give it the column attribute, specify which column it maps to, and our engine will take care of everything else. So we only have to write the conditional code when we need it, which is beautiful because the other solutions we were looking at was a whole bunch of code. This was a nightmare. Like, I can see people deciding to do this in a large company, right? And it's daunting and it's hard to maintain. It's a mess. Nobody wants to touch that code. Nobody wants to actually implement that code. And it's days of tedium and test cases. I don't even want to go there. So this is the approach we're doing here. Only saving the fields we need to save. Only save the fields that have changed. That's the second piece. We haven't done that. And we're not putting it in a DTO at all. So no DTO, just the attributes. Okay, now we got to make it all work. Let's go look at our all items. Let's start with all players. Update. Boring code is bad code. Interesting concept. Yeah. Well, when I say boring, if boring implies that the code is tedious and there's a lot of it and it's doing a lot of the same thing, that's kind of what we're looking at. Like data transfer objects, there's a lot of tedium there, especially when you're taking data from one format and converting it over to another. And if we don't need to do all of that, save all that out, right? Instead of having the brute force attack where we rewrite the entire spreadsheet back out again with all the data, which is a solution, right? We're going to come in and just write out the fields we want to. That's what we're going to do. So that's our goal. There is a risk, by the way. The risk in this is that we have to get, here, let's do a new slide. I think there's basically one risk. We have to nail the range that we replace. Right? We have to absolutely get this right. Because if we don't, what's going on here? Let's change it to must. Yeah, okay, fine. We must absolutely get this right. Because if we don't, we're going to put the right data in the wrong place. Yeah, we'd have to generate boilerplate rather than write and maintain it manually. T4 templates could be another method to auto-generate the code. Yeah, I think T4 templates would help in some places, but not in all places. So now I've got this update call. Now, next the question is, where do I want to make my save call? Where do I want to put this engine? And I think I want to put it down in my Google Sheets project. That's where I want to put it, which means that those attributes I just created are in the wrong place. These attributes go in the Google Sheets. That's where I think I want to put them. I'm actually thinking that this Google Sheets project, the Google Helper project, is potentially turning out to be could be a reusable thing that people might like and enjoy and use in their own stuff. So I'm going to move that folder over down here into Google Helper. Let's change their namespace here to match the Google Sheets namespace. That's the right project for the attributes. Hey, Codebase Alpha, you're my Rory today. Exactly what I need right there. Keep me on track to this. So let's change the namespaces of those down here. Column attribute. Indexer attribute. Sheet name attribute. Tab name attribute. That means down here we need a call that says update. And we can send it any object. That's what's so cool about it. We send it any object, it's going to find the right sheet. If we've read from that sheet beforehand, we're going to be able to find that sheet and write it out. That's what we're going to be able to do. So, yeah, that's what I believe, kids. That's my claim. So let's come in here. Let's create a new method. Call it update, like this. And yes, kids, it takes in any object at all. Any instance. I'll just call it instance, right? Like that. That's what I'll do. So there's my instance. Let's make it public. We need some system reflection in here is what we need. I'm just trying to figure out, do I want to keep this all in the Google Sheets class? Maybe for now. What's going on? What's going on up here? Is this my right? This is my old update. Anybody calling that? Nobody's calling this. Yeah. Tab name. I'm going to come in here to refactor later when it becomes clear that the current that the correct code structure is. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. It always takes me like about a minute. I tend to be about 70 to 135 seconds behind Codebase Alpha, just about every time. Maybe in reality, maybe more like 2 minutes behind him. Codebase Alpha, because of the amount of time it takes for Codebase Alpha to type that in. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm following you on that. I'm just like, I'm looking at this right now, and I think I want to do this. I don't want to use it. I was using something else clever to get the document name from the tab name, but I don't think I want to do that anymore. I want to specifically rely on it right there. Different errors here. Let's jump. I just typing this in because I want to jump over here and look at this. Sheet table map, sheet tab map. So the keys of the sheet tab map are all the known documents. So I think it goes, I think the code down here to see if we can find the doc name. Oh yeah, there it is right there. Spreadsheet IDs contains key doc name, then doc name not found. And then there you can see those are the doc names right there that are put in there. Then what are we doing with the tab name? I'm trying to remember that. The tab name is going to be, let's go find that again. Here, sheet tab map. So I think to verify that we've seen this before, it's going to be sheet tab map of doc name dot index of tab name. That's kind of the expression we're looking for. Does the tab name exist in that document? So if that is less than 0, then we're going to say the tab name is not found. Okay, so those will be our exceptions coming in there for update. Update is going to look like this, instance, like that. So it's going to take an instance, a document name, and a tab name. Or should it be an array of instances? Or do I want two methods? One that does just a single one and one that takes an array. I think I'll refactor it later. And we'll decide what we're going to do with that. We need when we read, I want to stop and see what there's some information I want to get when we read. Hold on, get document name not used anymore. here's the call to get cells. Okay. I want to get this because when this comes back, the response comes back, the value range has some values that we need to pass into. We would need to specify as well when we're writing. Major dimension, I think it's going to say rows or columns. At the very least that, and I'm not sure what e tag is. So we need to look at what value range is coming out and kind of mimic that in what we write back in. So I'm going to just set a breakpoint there so we can look at that data. Get cells is there. And yeah, I think let's go over to all players again. Create a new method. It's not outside the class. Update. Or save. Save changes. And now I want to go into Google Sheets dot save changes, I think, and then I think I want to say players dot can I do a to array like that? What is that red dot a third of the way down on the top of your VS window? Right there. There's another one right here. That is from the 3D dice roller. That's a shrunken die. Sometimes that happens when pieces are dropped like that. I can see what's the best way to get rid of that. I don't have a great way to get rid of it until we restart the app. Wait, I might be able to start the app. Hold on. Manually bring up the old one. Here we go. And if we initialize player data, we roll some new dice, they'll probably all go away. There's a couple in there.
It's Judy.
There, they go away right there. Thought it was a bad pixel on your monitor first. Yeah, watch what happens when the dice go away. They shrink down, and once they shrink down, we don't go back and clear them. And usually it's not a big deal, but sometimes those show up. Clear the dice. Now they're shrunk, and they're so small you can't see them here. Okay. Oh, shoot. With that up, I should have actually done the... you know what? I can do a test close right now.
Big love nuts.
Cool. All right, so save changes, players.toArray. No, I want to say this. This is a type object right here. And I'm wondering if I can pass an array of objects in. Yeah, it looks like I can, so I don't care. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do save changes here. And I'm making this an instance as well. We need some reflection in here. We've got it right there. Cool. Okay, so now I want to say, let's get the first instance right there. Dot get type dot get custom attribute, and the type of the attribute is going to be the indexer. No, it's the doc, the sheet name, okay. Instance type. Okay, so there's that one. And then we're going to do the same thing. Actually, let's use a duplicate selection, and we're going to call this the tab name attribute. Did everything change correctly? Instance type.name needs to specify the tab name attribute. Cool. Now we've got the two tab names, the two attributes there. Next, we're going to now call, change update to save changes. And pass in those instances to it. So we're going to pass in the sheet name dot sheet name, the tab name dot, sorry, tab name attribute dot tab name, and then pass in the instances. Having your office remodeled down there. Yep, that's right, Coding Gorilla. We're getting a new bathtub installed for Karen. Karen is like, you know, bathtubs are hard to find in Costa Rica. So we bought a house not too long ago, and no bathtub in it. And that is changing as of today, in time for Mother's Day. So kids, I got her a Mother's Day present. Phew! All right, so now I've got my saved changes. Now I'm coming in here. We need to do a couple things. We need to get the header row because we need to be able to match up. We need to find out what column is there. Yeah, the save changes is going to get, I think, big initially, and then we'll refactor it down, make it smaller later. There's a get cells call here somewhere. Here it is right here, get cells. So we want something like this. In fact, we want something like this. All right, so we're going to get the headers first. The cell range. Question is, how do I specify a cell range that's an entire row? 1:1. Sweet. I believe that could work. We're going to call this our header, our top row cells. So we're just going to grab the top row. And there it is. I'm going to now extract that into its own method. Oops, but I need to, before I do that, I need to, yeah, that's Roy hammering the code into shape in the background. He's got a very, I make him use a very heavy keyboard. Now we want to, I just want to do something like this so I get a reference to it afterwards. So now I get something that makes more sense with my extraction. And we're going to say get header row, like that. Okay. How do I use kind of wondering if I want to change these from objects to strings, because they're essentially all strings coming in. That's what I think I want to do. So I'm just going to delete this. Make it, I'm going to temporarily make it a void. And then come down here and say convert to function, so Coders changes it to a list of string. All right, cool. So there's my get header row right there. This is going to be a T for type, L for list of string, like that, dot S for the dot piece right there. So there's my header row. Okay. We're going to have other problems if that header row, for some reason, whatever, doesn't exist. Okay. So get header row is there. Next, I need to go through my instances. Find the properties that are marked I also need to get all the cells, because I need to go identify which row it's in, because I want to be able to survive. I want to be able to have other people edit the document at the same time, and then we need to update it. We're going to update without going to the wrong place. So I do need to get everything actually out here. So this get cells of 1 to 1 is no longer needed. I'm going to change this to all cells. All. I'm going to say all rows, like that. That's what I'm going to do. I'll call that all rows. And instead of doing this, we're going to say, we're going to pass out the header row. Am I really going to do the select? I think I am. So the header row is going to be there. Here, kids. Oh, that guy's nasty. Good job. Oh, look out. That was close. We almost got surprised by those shots. What the? It's getting hot in here, kids. Boom. Who's here, kids? It's PyroCat. PyroCat is here. Looks like I'm floating a little bit higher than I should be normally on this page. Welcome, PyroCat. Glad you're here. Fred, can you say hi to PyroCat, please? Fred says, no, I can't say hi because, you know, the app's not running. So he's going to sit there for a little bit. How are you doing, PyroCat? Glad you're here. It's a holiday over in the UK today. Bank holiday. Okay, I want to change this a little bit. Because I need to get two things. I need to get the header row, but I also need to get all the rows out. That's what I need to do. Out all the rows. This is going to be out the header row. All good. Nice part about lockdown on a farm is I can be outside all day without worrying about it. That's cool. That's super cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. So we're going to get our iList of iLists. These are going to be our all rows. I'm going to pop this up here, and we're going to pass that in there too. Okay, so that's one call that we make to bring in everything. We got our instances right here that we're bringing in. For every instance we're bringing in, we need I'm just thinking about marking pieces as changed or not. I think I'm not going to worry about it. I'm only going to send in the ones that are changed maybe to make things more efficient. Okay. So for each instance, we're going to assume every instance that's sent in is changed in some way. So that means we're going to need to do something like this. We're going to need to say instance row is equal to get instance row. We're going to need to pass in one of those instances. I'll index with I, and let's do a for loop. Like that. So we're going to go through all the instances. We're going to find out what row it's in. And we need to pass in all the cell data that we've got, the all rows. Whoops. So that's going to tell us what row we're in. Then we are going to the body, the value range is, wait. The range, what's going on here? Body, spreadsheet, the tab name, the tab name specifies we need to specify the range here. So, the field column, we need to get that as well. And I think we need to iterate through all of the properties. I think we want something like this. I think it's we're going to say it's a member. I thought there was just a member info. Member info. There it is. So I think we're going to get an array of member infos back. It's going to be, we're going to say get. No, we want this up above the for loop. So we want to say, and this is going to be serializable fields or properties, columns, fields. I'm going to call them fields because they could be fields or properties. So we're going to say that. Get the serializable fields of one of those instances. I think it's actually going to be on the type. Uh-oh. No, I've been good today. You don't need to jump it. Hey, Pudding. How you doing? Hey, kids. By the way, last night we did another Dragon Humpers out there. Jump out there and give us a follow if you're not following. If you like comedy, Dungeons and Dragons. That show's getting better every time, I think. And Pudding was out there with us. Thanks for hanging out with us last night. Do that every Thursdays and Sundays. And Karen's got a new show she's producing that's all women, Dungeons and Dragons, going to be on the same stream coming out. Mark is coding. Haha, you mean he was? Pudding. So I want to get the serializable fields. And I want to pass in, I guess, the instance. Suppose I'm going to do this right here. We're going to get out of there. Nothing to save. Or instances.length equals 0. Then we're out. Nothing to do. So down here, I'm going to pass in. So I thought I was going to ask for the type by now, but it looks like I have not. Did I do it up above before I got here? I did it here. Maybe I'm going to pass in instance type as another parameter. So hit the coder's key, choose add parameter. Instance type comes in there. There's my instance type. Now I don't have to ask a second time. Get serializable fields from the instance type. Okay, let's go declare that. Let's create a list first in here, a generic list to work with it. So we're going to say new list of what's on the clipboard right there. Member infos. There's some charity comedy D&D on tonight for the UK charity comic relief. Is that live streamed Codebase Alpha? Or is that live on TV? Okay, so we're going to create that new list. Instance type.get properties, binding flags dot public. I think they got to be public. Or binding flags dot instance, got to be instance. Isn't there a way to get properties of a particular attribute? Where is there a has attribute? No, okay. So we'll say we're get custom attribute of We're gonna make this kind of a more reusable thing here. Get serializable fields is going to be, what's going on? Oh, I don't have code that compiles. Okay, hold on. Give me something that's close. There we go. Now I can tab to next reference here. Let's do this. Get fields. Get fields, and let's pass in a t, where t is an attribute descendant. Cool. So now we're going to call get fields here, and now here we're going to say get serializable fields. Well, that's every field that has the attribute column name or column attribute. Okay, that means we can similarly come up here and get our indexers as well. Index fields, right? And come in here and grab our, I think it's called indexer attribute. Sweet. Now we're reusing the same code. We're going to come down here. We'll get custom attribute of t is not null. Like that. Okay, so we're going to get all the properties of that. Declare local. We call these the properties. And let's duplicate that line. And this changes to field info. And get all the fields. Passing in get fields. Okay, cool. I've got both of those. And then I want to say member info. Can I do an add range? Is it not? It's not. It's just not. It's only going to want the member info. And I don't think. I just don't know how to convert it. What's the secret? How you doing, baby? How's your bathtub looking?
Well, they took it into the bathroom
They took it out?
and they took it out.
Uh-oh. It's too big? Is it too big?
Yeah,
It is.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay, just your forehead's on the show. Do you want to give us a little more? There you go.
Hey, guess what? You
What?
know what I'm going to do today for the first time in quarantine?
What? Cody Girl is telling me how to solve the problem, it looks like.
Ooh. You could, oh, he's right.
No.
Yeah, try that. We're going to a socially distanced party later on.
Oh, that's right.
So, for the first time since quarantine, I'm shaving my legs.
Wait, what does Annie do, Coding Girl? You're shaving your legs.
I am.
Okay, cool.
Isn't that exciting?
It's awesome. What does any do? I thought any just says if I have any or not. It's just a true or false is what I thought it was. I want to convert a list of generic list or add generic list. Oh yeah. Gotcha. Okay, Coding Gorilla. Thanks. Sorry I missed that. One type to another type. Let's see if I can get something. Adding. Wait. Adding a different type of generic objects into a generic list. What do we got? It's just an add call? Wait. A list of an object or create a non-generic base class. What are you trying to do? I want to add this and this to this. I want to member info. I wanted to do essentially that is what I wanted to do. Wait, is it just going to work and I didn't have to do anything? Really? Wow. Okay, never mind. I thought it was going to fail, so I was like, look at that. All right, cool. So now we've got our fields coming out of here. Member info is the base class for both. Well, I don't know. I thought I've seen this not work before, but maybe there's something about add range in there. I'm not sure. That's how I would expect it to work, but I feel like I've run into problems where it's not worked. Okay, cool. That was not hard to do at all. So there's my get fields. So there I'm getting my index fields and my serializable fields. Then I want to say get instance row. And I think I also need to pass in my index fields there. So that's going to find which row. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Which row it's from. Then once I have my instance row, I'm going to say get range. And that's going to take it's going to take my header row. Can I access my header row from here? I want that. Get range is going to get my header row. And this is actually going to happen outside the loop because the range, the update range, well, yeah, maybe it's like this. And here we're going to come in and say, we're going to say, what do we need to do here? Get range, we're going to pass in the header row, the member info. So we want the range just for this cell. And instance row. Why doesn't it see these here? What's going on with, oh, is it this? It's that syntax right there. So get range, that's going to be a string. We're going to call it range. There we go. That should all calm down there. So now we've got our range. Then the last step is to fill out in here body dot range is equal to range. Body dot major dimension, I think, is equal to rows. I think we're gonna learn that and send that out. And then update body. This is going to go from tab name to range right here. Oh, and this is going to be tab name. I think that symbol, and then range here. I think that's the format for it. Tab name, exclamation mark, and then the range. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so body. Spreadsheet ID. This is a problem we were having yesterday. I had to come into my options in order to see that tooltip all the way through. Fonts and colors. Drop this down to like 10. There it is. Just get it far off to the left, I suppose, and we can see the whole thing. Spreadsheet ID and range right there. Okay, so I think that is, we're close. We got to make get instance row work. And we got to make get range work. And Coder's feature requests hammering special effects, sound effects when refactoring code, plays right of the Valkyries when building. I don't know, we might be able to get something like that. We might. Let's we'll actually start up the other app while we're still writing this code here, and we'll get the, once that up is up, I should be able to send music with the buttons. Can I wave with Fred? Looks like I can wave. Cool. Let's see if I can get the music up here. Go on. Some inspirational music. Good. Turn up the Code Rush music. And we'll get that inspirational music going, then we'll go and switch over to battle music once we're building and compiling. Get close to that. Okay, these are a little tricky to write. I think I want to do it using edit and continue almost. Get instance row. Let's put an R0 in here for now. Get range. So let's do this. Let's make this like a 9. This one's going to take some intelligence here to make this work. I'm going to say 9. How do I do this? I think I want to do something like this, like bring up a formula. Just like that. So it looks like it's just, if I wanted to specify just a single cell, it's just like that, B11. So I'm going to specify B12 for my test right here. And we'll figure that out later. So the instance row is going to say, we'll say it's 12, get the range. It's going to be B plus the instance row for now. Okay, so we've got our breakpoints there and there. And we've got our data here. I'm going to step the heck through this method when we get in here. Save changes, and now I want to call save changes. Frank's here, still fitting, yeah, with the Google Sheets, definitely. In fact, we're doing a super cool thing today, Frank. Let me show you what we're doing. Over in character, we are, let's add the right. We added 2 attributes to it. coming from the Google helper. Sheet name and tab name for the character class. Also, I think somewhere in here, do we have gold pieces in here? Or is that up above? It looks like that might be. Nope, it's right there. Just tab the X reference so we see it. I don't even know why I'm tabbed at X reference. I just should declare it. There we go, right there. And we need to come in here and do the same thing using. We've also added a column attribute on it. And if we see that column attribute, then that means this, the name of this property, we're expecting to find it in one of our columns in the sheet. There it is right there. So cool. We've got that. We know the type of the property. We could also specify a name of a different column if we want to get data to match up to the other. We've got our indexer here. The indexer identifies a property, the name property, which is here, right? And it identifies the unique value, right? Yeah, fighting. Sorry, I know what. Yeah, fighting. I'm not fighting. We're dancing. We're dancing, Frank. Sometimes I'm fighting. There's my indexer property right there. Indexer should maybe also have a column name. Like that. And we'll set it to an empty string by default. So if it's empty, then we're going to do the same thing where we're just going to get the name of the property. So I could specify this was, for example, if the case was different, I could do this. And what's cool about this approach is that's the only change I need to do to the instance to now get those pieces saved and mapped to the right location in the spreadsheet. So that's kind of what's going on there with indexer. We can do that instead because it's this name case matches exactly this piece here. So that means when I say indexer, that means this column, the name column, is going to uniquely identify it. So when I want to save a player and its name is like Fred, it's going to find the fifth column and it's going to say, okay, there's Fred. And then now we know what column we're in. That's what's going on. So yeah, when we get this working, it's going to be so cool because we'll be able to serialize and save anything just with a few attributes out there. And we'll be able to pass in an array of any number of instances, and it'll go out and save just those properties there. And I think it's going to save only the properties that have changed. It's going to look at that, see what's different, and whatever's different, it's going to save it. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Okay. Feeling good. Let's see what happens. We need to call save from someplace. Let's go to our main window. There it is right there. Let's go to the designer. Let's go find a place to throw a button on here where we can do this. I do have this test page here. That should almost be renamed Sprinkles. There's Sprinkles. I'm going to create a new tab item. Do I have a TI for tab item? Look at that. I do. TI template there. Okay, so called TB test. Header's going to be test. Inside here, B for button, BTN test player save. Save player data, like that. Okay, let's do like max width of 200. I think I need an X in there. That does min width, so I need an X for max width 200, like there. Okay, so that's my save player data. Let's do a min height of 80, 90. That's too high. So nice big button for us to hit. When we double click that, we're going to get in here. And so we're going to go into all players, .save changes, like that. That's how we're going to get in. And I think we have one more piece to write down inside of Google Sheets. I think it's the, did we get them both? No, we got them. We got them, get range and the other. Let's see if this works. Clean up some of these empty lines here. See if we can run. All right, we are running, kids. Let's initialize player data. Oh, I wanted to read the response to see what's going on in here. Major dimension is rows. That's important. E tag is null. Okay, cool. And then the values. So the main thing is rows there. That was what I was not certain about. So that when we save, we want to save the same way. So that means we're setting that, I think, down here, right there. And the E tag is going to be null. We're fine with that, I think. I don't even know what the E tag is. All right, let's keep going. All right, we can clear the breakpoint, keep running. So now it's going to load up all that data. Populate the tabs.
Willie Shaker, Lady McLovna, Merkin.
All right. Let's add some gold. Maybe we should get some battle music here going. Switch from inspirational to battle music here. Really? Why is this in the battle music? I'm going to give it a shot. It may change it up some stuff here. Okay, so let's see. Let's add some wealth. So let's add 1 gold. Where's my wealth? Oh, it's right over there. 1456. So if we go in here and we look at my character, we go to gold. Did I pass it already? Nope. It's right there. 1455 is what we've got. We've just changed it to 1456. Let's subtract 457. Make it 999. Change the wealth. Whoops. What happened? I think it did not have got a space in there. There we go. All right, so now I'm at 999 gold pieces. Let's go click our test button, save player data. Here we go. Music's perfect. Save changes. Here's my instance type. It's a character. Get custom attribute. I think I may have made a mistake down in save changes. Let me give you a preview where I think my mistake is. I think it's here. I think I need an additional flag in here. Binding flags dot inherited ancestor. What is it? How do I get the ancestor? It's not declared only. Flatten hierarchy. Is that got a comment? Seems like it's just static. I don't need that. I don't see anything here that allows us to specify. Well, it's declared only. So it probably means inherited members are good to go then. I thought I might have to specify that, but it looks like maybe I don't. Okay, so let's keep going here, stepping through. All right, so we've got a tab name attribute. So look, there it is. The sheet name is D&D. The tab name is players. Looking good so far. 10 instances coming in, and there's the instance type. So we're inside save changes. Checking to make sure we've seen the data before. We're good. Okay, here's the spreadsheet ID. Good. Getting the header row. Let's look at that header row. 47. But this is what we're going to use to get our indexes, to get what column index we need to save to. And is it one based? Well, it starts at, the column starts at the letter A. So we are going to need to convert those to letters. Also, it just occurred to me, for some of these, I think for spells. Oh, wait. Oh, no, we got the problem here. Look what's happening. Once we get to Z, we kind of start going to A, B, A, C, A, D. So it's kind of like a base 26 numbering system. We're going to have to figure that out too, to be able to get the right stuff here. So the index fields, let's see what we get. We should get one of those, I think. Over here, get fields. I set a breakpoint there, but I don't think I need it necessarily. What do we got? There we go. We got one member info back, which we got one field. And we'll look at that again. And its name is what it is, right? There it is right there. The name is name. That's the name of the field right there. So we've got that. Our indexer is the name field. That. Sweet. Our serializable fields, we should get, oh, is it just one? It's gold, I bet, right? Its name is gold pieces. Sweet. Okay. Everything's working as designed so far. Coming down here, get instance row. Maybe I should use edit and continue to figure this out. Got 11 rows. Shoot. Wait, this is all rows? The wrong data is kind of being sent in here. I need maybe one more piece of data on get instance row. I'm going to kill it. I want to add another parameter in here, I think is what I want to do. And the other parameter I want to pass in is header row. So hit the code rush key here, choose add parameter, start typing in header row, hit enter, and now code rush is going to add that for me. There you can see right up above my head there. It's passing in header row now. And so now what I want to do is I want to say get column index, passing header row in, and passing in index. Kind of need to do this in a loop is what it looks like I need to do. How don't I see index fields here? Oh, because I didn't say column. That's the same thing happened before. I've got code that this. I think I need to iterate through each of these. Let's do it as a, no wait, well let's go ahead and do that. Member info. And then I want to come down here and I want to say get column index. This is going to be member info I'm going to pass in, member info.name, like that. Let's convert this to a for loop, like that. Get column index. So for the header row, the header row is going to match up this name with the header row to get the index of the column. There's that one. This has got to go through our all rows. So let's come down here and do a for each here as well. This for that row, we're going to now see if row of column we're going to call .toString on that. If that row column .toString call is equal to get value of obj, the instance, passing in index no, this is wrong right here. We need index column name is equal to get column name Okay, let's declare this. Get column name takes the member info down. Now I want to say, hey, look, if, no, I want to do this. Member info dot get custom attribute. And we want to go get that indexer attribute is what we want to do. Hit the CodeRush key, choose declare local like that. By the way, CodeRush is getting faster here, by the way, I'm noticing. This is good because I've been telling the devs I want that faster. There's my custom attribute right there. If that's equal to null, then we're going to return member info.name. .name. Or if custom attribute dot column name is null or empty. If it's null or empty, boom, we're out. Otherwise, we're going to say return custom attribute dot column name. Cool. So there's get column name right there. So based on the name now we're going to go find that column index out of the header row. Let's declare that. All right, we need a for loop for this. If item is equal to index column name, then, well, we want to return in something here. I'll just type in R0 for now. Come back up here, hit the CodeRush key, choose for each to 4. That'll give me my i's in there, and now I'll return an I, like that. Otherwise, we're going to say I return -1, maybe? Like that, I think. Get column index. If column is equal to -1, then we want to maybe throw a new exception. And my exception is probably going to be... I'm not sure what kind of exception this is yet. Header not found. Header not found in sheet. And there, like that. Here's my exception and I'm out. Next, I want to say I also want to get out of here and do this. If this length is equals 0, then we want to basically also throw a new exception. Is it invalid data exception? I like that one right there. Throw a new exception. And that, make it null too. Do a null check here as well. Okay, so if it's null or the field length is 0, we need data. Okay, so now we're going to go into each row. And I think I want a Boolean here. Found, set equal to false, like that. And I'm thinking it's something like this. I want to say found is equal to true here. Else, this is here.
Is in the house.
How you doing, Jetsam? What'd I miss? Ever get your new project created? We said probably yes. Yeah. That was solved yesterday. But it was weird. I created it separately and then added it in. I'm doing some Genesco 7, where are you? Genesco 7's been here. Genesco 7's here. We needed his help, but he showed up. I'm doing some cool stuff here using attributes and reflection to efficiently save out to a Google spreadsheet. We're in the middle of writing that code now. I'm going to jump back into the code because it's kind of like complex and I got to hold all these things in my head. Once we get out of it though, I'll give you a tour and show you what we've done and why it's so cool. Maybe I was just here way earlier than this. Yeah, Genesco 7 came in. No, Genesco 7 was here. I think Kobe thought you might have stepped away when he came in. He showed up early. Okay, what do we got here? Row column to string. By the way, Deepwater doesn't look like he's here. I started working on Deepwater's this morning. Just did a little bit of work, but Deepwater's coming up. It's going to be cool. Some underwater fun there. I just continued to my DJ set, so I stopped by at the moment. Okay, cool. Genesco 7, I'd like to see your DJ set. Sounds fun. Okay, so let's try to get my head back inside of here. What's going on here? Value never used. Yeah, we're working on that. So we get out of the loop here. And if we're going to say, hey, if found, then we're going to say, well, I'm going to say R0 for now. Drop a marker. I'm going to come up here, change this for each to 4 again, like that. There's my J. Let's rename J to row index, maybe. Row index, like that. Now we're going to return the row index. That feels like good. Yeah, that's good. So we're going to do that. And then down here, we're going to say return a -1, I guess. Or we're going to do a get instance row index. Let's call this instance row index. Like that. Get value. We need to call get value on it. We need to pass in I right here. Can I extract, introduce a local for that? Cool. We're going to call this the row. This row. Like that. I am going to put it up here. Well, I'm only using it here. Bye, Frank. See you on Tuesday. Frank did a learning stream on Microsoft Developer Channel, start of the week. Nice. Okay, so we're checking to see if the row and column data as a string equals the value of the object as well, which is going to come back as a string. So the member info is coming in. I think all I need to do is say return member info dot get there's nothing there. I'm gonna have to upcast it, I think is what I'm gonna have to do. If member info is property info, there it is, get value. Pass in the object. I think that's all we need. Yeah, right there. Okay. Call it toString on that. Let's duplicate that. Look at CodeRush helping out there. Let's change that to field. And then we're going to say maybe an RN like that, return null. All right, I'm feeling like there's a chance that code is going to work. It's not bad. Okay, get instance row index is there. Get range, still have to write that. Let's run it though and see how we're done.
Lady McLovna!
All right, here we go. We're in initialize player data. Okay, data is initialized.
Bushwhacker!
Let's change my wealth. Let's subtract 456. Oops, 456. Change the wealth. Wealth is now 999. Make a test. Save player data. So the breakpoint run. How are we doing in here? I want breakpoints lower down is what I want. We're basically, I think, here is where we're safe to go to. Okay, so we've got our index fields, which we had before as 1. The indexer is the name. There it is right there. That's the name. That's the key piece of information. Serializable fields. That is gold pieces. That's coming from these two pieces of information right here. Okay, that's what's going on there. I wonder if I can do this during edit and continue. Is it going to freak out if I do that? Because it's equivalent. Oh, it's the same. All right, fine. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. Get instance row index. So what we're expecting to come back now with that data, with the row, with the code we just wrote, is it should come back with a, well, it's probably going to come back with a 2. 0, 1, 2. Let's see if it does. Let's step into it, actually. I want to take a look at that code, see how that looks. So there's the get the column name. So we have to do this for, even though index fields here is there's only one, there could be classes that have 2 different fields that together both must be matches for it to consider it an indexer into it. Just noticed that my, here, let's do this. Let's take the back overlay. I'm going to turn it off here for a second right there. Did I kill the sound in turning that off? Sure sounded like it. Back overlay's got the music in it, I think. Okay. Meanwhile, turn on the Code Rush music as our backup for that. Okay. So now we're looking at a particular row. Now we're checking to see if this row column to string. Now let's click here and it says that's a false. So there's the name is Willie Shaker. Oh, wait. Oh, because you know why? We're at column, we're starting row index 0, which is the header. We should really change this to a 1. What if we can come up here, set an expiration statement up there. All right, let's change that to a 1. See if that edit and continue sticks there. What's I? I is 1. Okay, cool. Oh, no. Hold on. Not there. It's row index. It's up here. Sorry, let me get back up here. Row index goes 1 to that. Okay, one more time. Because we're always going to skip the header row. Okay. So now what are we looking at? Here, click to evaluate the value. We're at a true. Oh, because we're sending Willie's. So we've got all the data we're sending out here. So Willie is going to match up even though we changed it in my character. Willie's the first one. Is that right? In it? Yep. Willie's the first one. Okay. And so now we're going to pass back row index is 1. Okay. And we're just going to go through all the instances here. So there's the instance row. Now we're going to go through the serializable fields. Now we need to get the range, which we haven't written yet. I kind of want to set to the next statement here. I want to skip over Willie. Who's next? Lady, Fred. No, wait, I'm next. Cool. That's the one that I want to look at and look at that data. Nice. Steve Smith, rating with a party of 43. Dude. How you doing, Steve? What you guys work on today? How you doing, Karen Manchcotti? You good? Yeah, you ready? Yeah, Karen's getting a new bathtub installed today. Template, method, design pattern. Yeah, Steve Smith is strong in the design patterns. Do you have any advice to Steve Smith about any of his methods? Anything you want to say, Karen?
I think that man has some of the sharpest shirts.
Can we get your face up into the shot?
I don't know if you know this, but Steve Smith is a fashion icon after his last visit to Vegas.
Look at that. He's all excited. He says, "Hi, Karen."
Hi, Steve. How are you doing? And also, he is bald now, I think.
What? That's
Did
impossible.
I see that? I'm pretty sure
That's impossible.
I think Steve is now
No, because
without hair. He's trying to be you. He's buying Robert Graham shirts like you like. He's going bald. And next thing we know, I'm pretty sure Steve's going to grow a little.
I don't think that's true because the last time I saw him, he had hair.
So then he just sits in a closet eating crackers till he sees you again?
The world stays static until I come back and visit. That's what happens. Not bald, says Steve. Might shave the beard soon, though.
Wait, are you not bald? Why did I think that you had shaved off all your head?
Because you were conflating that with a picture of your son.
My son shaved off all his
look
hair.
Look at you. You're so hot. You're steaming right now. Look at that. Visuals coming up there.
This is a bubble-headed commentary.
Simon Gearing. Simon Gearing is in the house. I don't know, kids, if you know this or not about Simon, but...
Simon Gearing rocks!
Simon Gearing rocks. Absolutely
That's
true.
That's his fanfare?
No, it's not really fanfare.
Because I was going to say you're phoning it in.
That was before we got the fanfare good thing going there. What's going on here? So we're stepping through. We're doing some cool stuff here, kids, for folks who have just joined us. We are setting up, I always want to say his name like engineering with a soft G. Simon Gearing. Oh, man. I hope. Well, I don't know. I'm saying it with Gearing. Simon Gearing. Oh, I get it. Yeah, it's kind of like engineering. I think I've done this. Hopefully I'm not doing it the wrong way.
Or it's like he's booing you.
No idea what it is. Mark's pronunciation is the correct one. Yeah, I thought there might have been a chance I asked you about pronunciation on that. Cool. Phew. Phew. That was a close one. All right, we're doing some really cool stuff today. This is the show where Mark looks like a professional developer, by the way.
You're welcome. It's because I told you about that.
That method. What should I do with this method right here?
That needs to be refactored.
Okay. I'm going to refactor it. Thanks, baby. You're the best. You're the best. Yeah, it's true. It does need to be refactored. We are doing some super cool stuff. We're working with Google Sheets, and we're saving data out. We've already read in all the data, but now we're saving data out. But our goal is to only save the cells that have changed. So we're intelligently, we're going through writing code to figure that out. And in terms of like getting the data in the right format, the challenge that started the day was this. Our Google Doc sheet, our Google Sheets document would go into a DTL where they'd had a one-to-one mapping of fields to properties. Give you an example of that. Here, my Google Sheet for my players has like, I don't know, 47 columns in it. And each of these columns has a property that's almost always of type string in the character DTL. Let's see if I can find that, bring that up here. Oops, character DTO, there it is right there. So that's all it looks like, just a bunch of properties, some ints in there, ints and strings. But the thing that's important is every name matches. We did this initially because we were using the CSV NuGet package, the CSV helper NuGet package. But then we said, hey, wait, let's read and write directly to the sheets. So we wrote our own tool to use reflection to go in and populate this data in a manner similar to what I believe CSV helper does. So I need some flowers to stream right. How do you talk to Google? Do they have an equivalent to the MS Graph API? Yeah, you just search for Google Sheets. I've got my Google Helper class out here, and one big file in it called Google Sheets.cs. When I say big file, it's really not that big, but it looks like it's what? How big is it? It's about 340 lines of code, so not too bad. It's got a couple things that are specific to what I'm doing. I know the names of my sheets and I know the sheet IDs. So I kind of did that here. If I was going to reuse this code, I might throw this on another place, right? If I was going to give this to everybody to reuse, or if you were going to use that you don't need. Yeah, so we just use the API. The first time you use it, you have to register. You have to, when I say register, you have to essentially log in and say, here's who I am, here's my credentials, and then it saves those credentials, stores them out. That's what's going on there. let me, I'm just going to turn off the back overlay so we get that text, get rid of that text for right now. So we're, I think, stepping through the code right now. And by just going in and into creature, I haven't quite, we just added these attributes, which we also created today. An indexer attribute and a column attribute. The indexer allows us to choose which property of the instance is going to be used to index the row. And so we're going to say, hey, the name is unique inside of here. So the name, this is the piece that's unique. I'm not going to have anything else. And if I wanted to, I could specify multiple indexers. And if I want to serialize or save a column out, I just put the column piece right here, and I could optionally pass in a string to give it another column name, like maybe it's GP or something like that. I could do that. I'm going to undo that because I'm in edit and continue right now. Let's go back over to Google Sheets. We're going through here. I think I is now 1. We're going through the second row, which is my character player. We're going to grab that, the instance row on that. I think we've verified that this works. Let's change the breakpoint to here and put one here and run. We should get a, 2. So row index 2 for the character Merkin is correct. That's row 0, 1, and 2. So that's Merkin. Cool. All right. I'm feeling this code is good. So we got our instance row. Then we're going to go through all our serializable fields. Right now we just got one. It's that gold pieces field right there. So we're going to go get that. We're going to grab its member info. There it is. And then we're going to get the range of that. So let's go do that. We know our instance row is 2. Let's go in here and get the range. And we haven't written this code yet, but I think it's going to be like this. Do I already have something in here like a get column? Get column index. That's what I want. So now let's get back over to where we were and get range. We're going to say get column index, but what I'm going to pass into it as the name is the member info, but not actually the name, because it might have what am I sending in here? So in this case, it's serializable, which means it's looking at the column attribute. So what I need to do here is something similar to what I've done before. Get column name. I'm going to kill this a second. I want to make this generic, is what I want to make this. Yeah, I'm going to make this generic. Give me 1 second, though, because I want to change both of these. My indexer attribute, I want these to descend from something, is what I want them to do. I'm going to create a column name attribute, I think. See you, Steve. Thanks so much, buddy. Neo's out there. How or where is it doing the comparison of the two data sets? I'll show you that. We'll step into that. Give me 1 second here. Column name attribute is what it's going to descend from. We're going to do a base here, passing in column name like that. I'm going to put column name up here, like that. And this is going to be an abstract class, like that. And we need to change its constructor to be this. And this goes up in the constructor up here as well. Is it worth spending all the savings on a MacBook Pro? I don't know. I'm not the guy to say yes to that. I'm the guy to say, I don't know, because I've never really used a MacBook Pro. And actually, if you can spend all your savings, no, keep your savings. Unless you can turn that into more money. Oh, Simon, I missed something you said earlier. We're comparing, hold on, Neo's asking, I missed the part of coding. We're comparing what was read previously to current read sheet to detect which rows have changed. We've not done that yet, Neo. We're going to write that code soon. But I'll show you we're close to doing that. We're writing the code to compare to find the index. Simon's asking, so this saves you having to build and publish a web app UI if the other Dragon Humpers want to contribute content to the world. To some degree, yeah, I'm writing it so that multiple people can work on the Google Sheet if I want to. What I really want to do is have maybe not for this code, because these are things that kind of rarely change. But at the end of the show, I want to say save, and I want the hit points to go out, the gold pieces to go out. Any of those things that I'm saying is a changeable thing in the game to go out and be savable. But imagine I might want to list some monsters here, right? I can use the exact same code or very similar code to bring monsters in, to save them back out, and to share that sheet with the dungeon master who's going to modify that sheet for the game without destroying the data, without overwriting. That's kind of what we're trying to do here, is make it so we are dramatically reducing the chances of destroying data. World backup, then cool. So, all right, so column name attribute is here. I'm going to move type to file. And then I want to go find the column attribute. There it is right there. It's going to send from column name attribute. It's going to come in here and call base. And pass in column name. And we're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this. Now that I have a common ancestor in both of these attributes, I can come back over to Google Sheets and I can say get column name of T, where T is that guy. And then I'm going to do, nope, I can do this. T, like that. But sweet, it all works. So now get column name. Here, I want to use the indexer attribute. But in the other place I'm at, which is get the range. Where's get range? Here, I want to say get column name. Instead of member info name here, I want to pass in member info here. And I want to choose the column name, the column attribute.
Surly Dad is in the house.
Pro tip, rename T to C. What is this? Yeah, I know I'm supposed to do that. Fine. I'm going to do it. You're right. I'm doing it. I'm going pro today. What is going on? Why do I do... Yeah, what's going on there? It's the weirdest thing. All right, T column attribute. You know what? I'm liking it. People have said this to me before, Simon, by the way, and I've been like, yeah. And I haven't done it. And now I'm loving it. So rename this as well. This is the T attribute. Cool. Yeah, I like it. It's good. Surly's in the house. Hide your wife. What to hide your kids? Hide your coins. You have a wife to hide, Pudding? No, but I have coins to hide. Coins. Surly says, what if you had an audit history of the game as it was played out? I kind of do. so that if saving of the game data at the end failed, you could roll the data forwards instead of losing an entire game, just like you do losing my drone coins if you don't shut down properly, for example. Google Sheets, I'm relying on Google Sheets to maintain that audit history, Surly. So I think we're going to be good. What do we got here? Get column index. Okay, so that's going to get my column index. Now I got my row index. Then I want to say return. And this is going to be get row number, passing in instance row. Oops. You rename that to row number, row index, like that. Or maybe we're just going to say not, hold on, I'm not sure. That's not what I wanted. I meant, let's do row index plus 1 because that's kind of an easy conversion. So that's going to be, oh, but we do column row. So we need the column first. So this is going to be get column letter or something, get column ID and pass in column. And then let's declare this. Someone's going to break it by renaming one of the columns. Well, if you break that, you also break the import as well, because that breaks the DTO. So we're not going to let anybody do that. We're going to roll that change back. It's going to be a string that's coming out of here. And I think it's what? This mod 26 is going to be my second digit. Am I getting? Nope. That's going to be column div 26. It's going to be my first digit. It's going to be that. And my second digit is column div 26. If my second digit is greater than 0, then my second digit string is equal to, I think I'm going to call get column ID again on it. Recursively handle that. Okay, then I'm going to say then I'm going to come back and I'm going to say return I think it's going to be char dot, what is it? Convert the specified Unicode code points. Is that what I want? Char, what if we did this of the first digit? Can we typecast to, whoops, sorry, hold on. Can we typecast to that? Does it have to be a byte? Whoops. Google may deprecate Sheets tomorrow. What? Irony. The irony mark is it was Code Rush Code Improvement hint I first learned it from. All right, Simon, you're right. I know. I talked to the devs about it. I just didn't do it because I was happy with the T by itself. I wrote a function VBA a couple of months ago to find columns in a spreadsheet by title and then reference them in a float formula. I was pretty chuffed with that. Over Google, yeah, Google. Someone's going to break it by renaming one of the columns. We've got that part already. I got that probably, but we'll have to write a format validator to check the sheet is in the expected format before doing anything with it. How many columns do you have? If you're asking me, I've got like 47 in this sheet, but I've got a lot of different sheets, but they're about that many columns. It's possible to have a beefy. Is it possible to have a beefy virtual machine with say 64 gigabytes memory in Azure Cloud and use that VM with all Docker containers for dev work? That's actually an interesting question, and I bet you the answer is a yes to that. I think it is possible that. I was talking to some folks about setting up Azure Cloud machines for streaming, and they were talking about setting them up with NVIDIA cards on them, and they were pretty happy with the end results there. Cody Gorilla says, yeah, if you can afford it. I wrote a function to generate a column name, but it only works up to column AZ, not every column beyond that, but I'm happy with that restriction. Well, I'm getting close to that here, I think. Take a look at code spaces. MS just released something similar. What's code spaces? That's my question too. Pretty much what you just described, except I'm not sure they work with Docker. A dev environment in the cloud. That's super cool. I wonder if I could get like essentially a second dev machine using that technique. That's super interesting. Not sure either, but I'm sure they restrict the software you can install for security reasons, so it would be interesting to see how they handle things like Docker. Ushi84 says, this is really cool. I built an importer that builds classes by arbitrary columns and names. Adding Google Docs to it would be fun. Is there an API for it? Yes, there is an API. And it was not too hard. We figured that out. Okay. Okay. We're only worried about the string part. So now what I want to do is say first digit, I think plus 65. But now what's my problem? Cannot, oh, I need parens here. I think that's going to work. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say second digit string plus that. And I think with that recursion, that's going to get my column ID for me. Am I stepping through it? No, I'm not. Let's set a breakpoint. Let's run it. Okay, our app is up and running. Let's initialize the player data. This is going to read from the Google Sheets, the data that's out there. In fact, to show this is working, I can come out here to this character, change the gold pieces from 1455 to say 1499. I'm sorry, 1999. Let's do that. So all I'm doing is saving that change, coming out over here, initializing player data. And then once that's done, I'm going to click on Merkin Bushwhacker right here.
Merkin!
It's going to load it up, and there, look at the gold pieces. So we can see it's reading the data. Now I'm going to change wealth. I'm going to subtract 1,000 from me, like that. So we get down to 999. Good. Go to my test page, click Save Player Data, and we're going to step through the code a little bit. We're basically down here to this point on get range. Let's see what it comes back with. Well, I've got breakpoints inside. Get instance row index. This we think is looking good, so I'm going to run that. Instance row is 1. Let's just double check that. Instance 1 is this one. That's Willie. I don't want to save Willie. I don't care about Willie. So I'm going to jump to the end here, set the next statement, and run until we get to the next breakpoint, which is going to be here. And now we've got instance rows 2. This is the one I want to worry about. What's happening with range? We just run it and see, click to see evaluate. U3. Is U3? Whoa! Is that it? Did we just do that, kids? There's U. 3 is, yep, that's it. I think that's it. If I come in here and I say equals, and then I just click on that, yep, it gives me U3. Kids, I think we got the right range. And I think Google Sheets is going to be smart enough that if I don't have, notice I'm not saying it's U3 to U3, it's just U3. All right, what's the value that I'm sending out? The body has not been established yet. The body is null. We got to do something with the body. Inside the body, it's got a property. What is it? Values? Range? Values. It's an iList of iList objects. Can I do a generic list, you think? It's a new list of, it's a new list of objects, I guess, like that. And what's wrong here? Not of object, of list of object, I think. Is that it? What is my problem here? So list can't go to that. Can I change it to an iList? I don't think I can do that, can I? I need like an iList kind of descendant. That's what I think I need. All right, this is obviously knowledge I should know, and I don't, so apologies here. C# create iList descendant. I just was assuming that list was new list of iList. Oh, okay, Coding Gorilla. That's a neat idea. I like that. That actually feels like I could do that. That's it. Good job, Coding Gorilla. Boom. Good job. Let me hide the back overlay because I just realized you was blocking the code there. You need to get sex positive to subtract the gold from Merkin. Yeah, you know the show. How the show works.
Hey! Who said that?
Nobody. There's no proof of anything. You don't need to come over.
Right over here and see who said that.
Human in the cloud has some advantages for Dev. It can be given seamless access to other cloud resources or restricting the .NET access.
Codebase Alpha.
Uh-oh. Codebase
You're
Alpha,
on my list.
You're in trouble. Mark, I don't care about Willie. That's true. I said that. U3 is how you would reference a single cell. It's the same in Excel. Says Early Dev. Good, good, good. Coding Gorilla, thanks so much. That totally, I was like, that was going to take longer for me to figure that out. Okay, so there's my values. Then I want to say values.add a new list of object, like that. And then I want to say values of 0 dot add, and now I want to add the actual value I want to write out because we're just going to do this one cell at a time. So now we got to get the property, get the value. But I think I already have something in here that gets the value from it. Get value. There it is. I need to pass in the instance, which looks like it's instances, whoops, get value, and pass in instances of I. like that, and the member info. And that's going to return a string, I think. It is. So now I've got the data to write back out. Now I'm not yet checking to see is the data different. But we could do that. Hold on. We've got all rows right here. And we know our hold on. We know the let's do this. Let's add the code because I don't think it's going to take that long to do that. Let's introduce local right here. Call this value like this. Existing value is equal to get existing value. We're going to pass in all rows. We're going to pass in our instance row. Let me change that to row index here. And we need a column index. We actually figure out the column index in here. I think I want to change this around a little bit. Here's get range, passing in a column index, and I want to take this, go find that, change it to that, so I have my column index, like that. Get range, column first, row next. This we can delete. We might have to restart. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have to restart. I'll kill it. You're right, Surly Deb. I'm sure she was thinking it was you as she approached the desk. It's awesome. Yeah, Surly says, thanks for being the one being in trouble for a change, Codebase Alpha. I appreciate it. Willie Deb is the new Surly Deb. Surly asked, is that any way to talk about your brother? Yeah, Codebase Alphas. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Okay, so get range is here. Get existing value. We need to get that. We're going to pass in now our column index and our row index. Like that. Maybe I'll switch over to the dark side. And now what we need to do is find out what that value is here. So we're going to say all rows of row index. Grab the column index and call toString on that and return that. That's what we're going to do. I think that's okay. And so now we're going to say, hey, if value is not equal to existing value, we've already read in everything because we kind of have to do that to securely modify this. We only want to make changes if the data is different. That's kind of our goal. We could take a brute force attack approach on this where we just save everything, but we want to be efficient. That's the goal. So now if we get in here, this is where we want to save some values out. That's what we want to do. We're still, I don't know if this code is correct yet, but we'll give it a shot. Let's run it one more time. Surly Deb says, you're already on the dark milk chocolate side. You should dump some white chocolate on him for a change. Maybe I'll drop bitter chocolate instead. I think I'm going to stop being surly for a while and go incognito or use one of my other Twitch accounts for a while. All right, buddy. Okay, Surly. Here we are, initialize player data. Notice the breakpoints weren't available until I clicked on initialize player data. And we got a reference down into that DLL. And it was actually loaded up. Okay. Merkin. Where's my gold? My gold is $19.99. You can see it right over here. The back layer is not on. I've turned the back layer on. Let's reinitialize the data.
Well, working.
Okay, hide the scroll. Let's change the wealth. Subtract 1,000 from that. Oh, you know what? I want to show you this actually. And I will subtract 1,000. So now it goes to $19.99. I'm now going to hide the scroll.
I love trash.
Oh, Jesus! Crophorosaurus. It's crazy. Just took out Oscar. That was like not very nice. Look at me so floating up so high here. Let's get me down. There we go. All right. Jumping back over. It's foods for me. Foods time for me. Okay, Pudding. We'll see you later, buddy. All right. So we've got our breakpoints. I'm going to click on the test save player data button. Here we go. I is 0, I is 1. Row index is 1, sorry. That's Willie. We should never ever get, I'm going to believe that this is working. That looks like that's working. We should never get in here on the first one. Next time though, we should. Let's see what's going on here. This is now row index. Where's my row index? Row index is 2. Row index is 2. 0, 1, 2. This is the one we changed. So that's what we're expecting. We're expecting to get inside the here this time. We've got U3 as the range. Let's keep stepping through the code. I've got CodeRush loaded, so it's just telling me the values of things. Here as I go through, that's one of its features. Get the value. We're at 99.0. Existing value is 1999. Okay. If they're not equal, then we're going to write it out. Body values of 0, add the value. Is it going to work? I'm so nervous. My range is U3. I'm hoping. I've never done this before. Here we go, kids. Response.execute. Oh no. Wait, range is just UE. It's U3. It should be players UE. Hold on. Body range. Oh, well, let's do this. Okay, so we got an error. That's okay. We're going to come back up in here. See if we can set next statement. Ooh, that's a sign that it's not going to use that. Edit and continue is not selected all the way. So I think we're going to break. Stop the app. I'm going to set a breakpoint here now. Clear this other breakpoint. Maybe just clear all breakpoints. Set just this one and run. Bye, Simon. See y'all. Thanks for the stream, Mark. Hey, you're welcome, Simon. Okay. Initialize player data. If this works, we're out of here, kids. That'll be the end of the show. I hope this doesn't destroy the data. Wouldn't that be horrible? Okay. I'm glad we got that error, though. That made me happy, that the range was somehow different. Okay.
Merkin Bushwhacker.
Going to change the wealth. We're going to subtract 1,000. Right there. Change the wealth. There goes the money. I'm now at 999. I'm going to hide the scroll. Now we're going to hit the save player data. And we get to the breakpoint. Sweet. What do we got? Existing value. Here's our new value. Please work. Please work. Oh, what do we got now? Value input option is required but not specified. Value input option. What's that mean? My good value input option. Values user has entered will not be parsed and will be stored as is. Will be parsed as if the user typed them in. User entered is the one I want. Sweet. Okay, value input option. All right, let's see if we can find that. Where is that? That must be inside body. Not there. Is it a parameter? It must be. Maybe it's a parameter. How is it specified? Is it must be on request then maybe? Is that what it is? Let's see if it's on request. So it's not on body, it appears to not be there. Request dot value input option. There it is. User entered. I like this because it's going to take our 999.0 and turn it into 999. I think. Pretty sure. So let's come back over here. Was I able to change the set next statement? Is that going to work? It looks like it highlighted the whole thing there, so that's good. Edit and continue. Got it. It looks like. Nope. It did not. Okay, so let's just, I think that's just edit and continue. Let's run it again. Let's see who's out there streaming today. Get ready for a raid. I want this to work, and I'm done. I'm out. Who do we got?
Lady McLovenuts.
I think I'll send you over to Brian Clarkio over there. He's doing some great stuff lately. Really liking quality of his show. So we'll take a look at that. A lot of good folks out there. Chef Brent's out there too. What do we got here? There's our data.
Cutie working.
Subtract the wealth minus 1,000. Change, make 1,001. Change the wealth. Now at 998. Save player data. Okay, now here we are. Here's a request. Now we've set the value input option. What do we got? No exceptions. What's in my response? Got my spreadsheet ID, updated range, sweet, updated cells, updated columns, updated rows. Look at that. Should we go take a look at it? I think it says 998 inside of it. What's it say? Look at that, kids. Boom, boom, boom. We saved it. That's awesome. We saved it. We're saving the data out, right? Okay, we're just going to keep running here. I don't think we're coming back in that breakpoint anymore. We made one change and we saved it. let's do this. Let's see if we can go crazy here for a little bit here. Let's come back over here. She's got 1,200 gold pieces. Let's add 99.69 like that. Let's change the wealth. Whoops, we're going to add it to it. So let's change her wealth. And now her gold pieces are going up. You can see them right there. 1299.69. Let's come back over, save the data, and let's switch over as fast as we can. See if who's fastest. Look at that. It's there. Oh, that's so awesome. That is so awesome. And the only thing we had to do, so sure, we built the engine, but now that the engine is built, the only thing we had to do is go into, what? Who's here? What's that? Seriously? Copperbeard, you right in the middle of my, summary? You're coming in? Boom, 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 boom.
Copperbeard is in the house.
Just in time for the raid. The only thing we had to do, here, let me hide the scroll over here so you can see the code. The only thing we had to do to get this to now save is to do two things. One is we specified the indexer, which is the field of our data that we're saving. The field of our data that we're saving that is unique in the spreadsheet. So the name is unique. We could specify more than one. For example, I've got spells, and I've got a couple spells that have the same name, at least one that has the same name twice. I'm sorry, one spell, where I've got two instances of it with the same name. So what I can do is I can do this, plus I can choose another piece to make it unique, like, I don't know, duration, right? Or casting time, right? Those two are unique. And these together form the index. It uses that to find the right data to change. Then it goes through, finds everything marked with a column, checks to see, is it different? If the data is different, it writes out only that cell, which also means that if we go into the versions for this, versioning, where is that? File. Where's our versioning? Tools. Where's my versioning for this? I'm not seeing it. File version history. Did I just miss it? Oh, there it is right there. Okay, see version history. Cool. I think I was on the wrong place though. Hold on. Let's go back to, I want to go to, just in case, I want to make players active. And then I want to say, okay, file, version history, see version history. So we should see the history of our changes. Interesting, version history. Okay, there we go. Oh, we can choose the tabs here, I guess. Is that right? So current version, 1254. This is a little disconcerting. It's taking a long time to load these up. Gold pieces. Well, there we go. You can see the gold pieces there. Huh. Thought I had the left column frozen. This is weird. Lack of responsiveness here. But it looks like the version history is preserved. That's what it looks like. I'll look into that more on Tuesday, let you know what's going on with that. Meanwhile, I'm going to start the raid, send you over to Brian Clark. And I'm out of it. Mark was too full of himself. I'm out of here. Yeah, kids, super cool stream today. We did some good code. We need to do a little bit more testing on it, but it looks like it is rocking. It is doing exactly what we want to do. And it saved us from having to do a whole bunch of this, where we had to create a whole nother DTO or use this DTO, do the inverse mapping. There's some code involved here of conditioning the data. Now we can just grab the pieces we want, send the objects down to the Google Sheets. It's going to go use these two attributes plus the attributes at the top of the class that we want to save right here to grab the sheet name and the tab name and update and find the places, put it out. It's a really smart way of saving the data. Super cool. We'll see you. Talk to you guys later. Tell Brian I said hi.
Boom. Stop. Hey, thank you, Code Rush, for the raid. Mark, my man. How you doing, buddy? Welcome, everybody, from Mark's stream. And Mark, thank you so much for the raid. Happy to have you here. I'm still catching up on chat. I just changed my title, actually, right before you all raided. Mark, Code Rush says, hi, Brian, have a good stream. Shout out to Code Rush. Code Rush, by the way, fellow live coder as well. Thank you, Mark, for the raid. Appreciate you, bud. Have a good rest of your day. If you got a raid and run, that's cool. It's all good. It's all good. Dustin Blanc. Dustin LeBlanc. Thank you so much for the...
Karen? Yeah. Just a sec.